Ford Mustang. The future belongs to those who build it.
Hockey New Zealand's coverage of the Ford National Hockey League is proudly brought to you by Ford New Zealand in association with our hosts Tauranga Hockey and the Tauranga City Council, and thanks to key partners Tect, Trillion Trust, Educare, and Vantage Windows and Doors, principal partner of Hockey New Zealand.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the Tauranga Hockey Centre in Blake Park. Beautiful Mount Maunganui as we get ready for the final game of the 2019 Ford National Hockey League. It is the Men's Challenge Shield final between Auckland and Tiger Turf North Harbour. Very much looking forward to this contest. And we'll have Nigel Gregory joining myself in commentary. Nigel working very hard. He's already sidelined. And first, he has the Auckland men's coach, James Grant.
Very good afternoon, and we're just about to start the men's final here at Tauranga Hockey Centre. My pleasure to have Warren with me. Warren Buckingham, how are you feeling before the game?
We're quite relaxed. We've worked really hard over the week to be able to put ourselves in this position. The boys are feeling well. If we play to our potential, we've got a good chance of being able to come away and be happy today.
I thought in yesterday's game that I saw you attack strongly, really quickly. Is that the same sort of plan for today?
To be honest, we probably play defence first, and if we play really well there, we've got a chance of being in the contest. We've got some strategies that we'd like to be able to implement today, but we'll see how it goes. Obviously, finals are finals. They're sometimes messy, and sometimes it's a bit of a battle early on, and we'll see how we come out after the first 15 minutes.
All right, look, I wish you luck for today's game, and thanks very much for talking to us.
Cheers, thanks.
Thank you very much. And now I'll have a word with David Kasu from Tiger Turf North Harbour. David, how are you feeling before the game?
A little bit nervous, yeah, to be honest. It's a final. I know it's our third in a row, but still the nerves kick in.
So, you're scared, nervous, or just nervous and excited?
No, we're not scared, mate. Just nervous. It's the occasion. Like, we prepare a long time for this one match, and we're always pretty confident to get to this point. So there's a bit of pressure on today, and it's just a one-off match. So who knows? Things that we can't control could control the outcome. But yeah, we're excited about it.
Well, that's fantastic. We'll take that energy into the game, and good luck to you and your team for today.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, David.
Nice.
Thank you.
Dave Kassouf there, the North Harbour coach, with our man Nigel Gregory. Will now make his way up the stairs to join us in commentary. Also heard from the Auckland coach, James Grant. The Auckland men, fourth last year. They are five-time champions, though, of the Men's Challenge Shield, most recently in 2014. Tiger Turf North Harbour men, they were runners-up last year. They were in this position. They made the final. They are five-time champions, most recently in 2017. So this is a third straight final for North Harbour as we see the Auckland men's team and a few players of great quality, especially when you see Simon Child, 274 games for New Zealand. Has not played those since the Rio Olympics. Marcus Child, part of the Black Sticks Oceania Cup squad in Rockhampton just a few weeks ago. So Jared Panchia, a part of that squad as well. Leo Mitai-Wells, 40 games for New Zealand. And now the North Harbour team as well. Their captain, number 1, James Coghlan, former player for New Zealand. George Muir, number 11. He's one to watch for as well. He's part of that Black Sticks squad at the Oceania Cup. And also number 31, Stephen Edwards, a veteran player for New Zealand. 207 games he has played for the Black Sticks as well. And then you've got the experience too of their coach, Dave Kassouf, who has just been talking to Nigel Gregory, who's made his way up the stairs. I hope you got your breath back, Nigel. We're all ready to go for the culmination of an amazing 9 days we've had here at the Tauranga Hockey Centre as the Men's Challenge Shield final.
Absolutely, and it was interesting for me to note that both talking to David and Wayne, there's a real tension in the air. While the players look nice and calm, it's interesting, the coaching staff a bit edgy about things. Most would talk about having their plans very settled at this time of a tournament, but they just seem to be a little bit on the edge. But I think, as David mentioned, sort of a nervous excitement about going into this game, and this is what players train and hope for, to get into the chance to a gold medal begging for them here, and a perfect occasion here at Tauranga Hockey Centre.
Yeah, the Battle of the Bridge happening here at the Tauranga Hockey Centre. Auckland up against North Harbour. There's not many better rivalries in New Zealand sport than this one.
It was interesting, just talking to Wayne Brenton, we watched Auckland play yesterday, and I thought they came out pretty quickly in their game against Capital, and scored some early goals and looked strong. They said they like to secure their defence first, but that certainly turned into goals yesterday, so it'll be interesting to see how that defensive strength translates at the other end. It seemed to work for them yesterday.
Yeah, able to play with great freedom, already assured of a place, of course, in this final. And they played their final round-robin game against the Capital Cobras, who, as we have seen, have just played out their bronze medal match, losing to Canterbury earlier this afternoon. So Canterbury, we know, the Cavaliers have taken bronze. And now will it be Tiger Turf North Harbour following the women and winning the Men's Challenge Shield, or will it be the Auckland men winning it for the 6th time, as we see an early warning shot for Auckland, as George Muir was getting in amongst there. Prolific goal scorer at this level and for New Zealand.
Just noticing across most of the games today, there's no one's driving with a handbrake on today. There's real effort, there's real work, there's real determination. This means something to all the players. Of course, it's the last year that we'll have this tournament format, and it looks to have the players really engaged, and they're going, well, this is my last chance to get a medal or to finish in a certain position, and they've attacked the day like that. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, this will be the first time we'll have this kind of format. You may very well see Auckland and North Harbour and this very similar kind of teams, though, come the next year's competition, which is moving to more association base rather than a regional base.
Chatting with a few players and people around the turf today, that most seem to have embraced it. They're excited by the opportunity, and have certainly believe that Hockey New Zealand's doing the right thing in doing that, and that they're looking to strengthen the top tier of players and to open developmental pathways. And there seems to be like a good formula. People said, it's a major change, but they're saying, yeah, I like it, let's go.
Yeah, after 21 seasons of this format, deciding in 2020 to go a different route. So this is the final Ford National Hockey League as we know it. And we'll see who is crowned Men's Challenge Shield champions in 2019, as Marcus Child is harassed by a couple of North Harbour players, earns a free hit just his side of halfway. You can see the sun streaming down onto the turf and into our commentary position here as well. Makes filming a bit difficult. A wonderful job that Stream Shop team do here. And now a bit of space over to this right-hand pocket for Simon Child to work and finds a pass to a teammate. And it's a shot on goal and denied Kim Kingston by the Harbour goalkeeper. An important save and clearance made by North Harbour.
He's a big boy and he stood solid and strong there in keeping that shot out. Again, the sun will probably play a part in certain positions of the field, and certainly once the ball's elevated, I think that may have an effect.
And we also saw Matai Wells, member of that Black Stick squad in recent times, and he was denied as well as he went trying to knock in the rebound past the goalkeeper. So, an opportunity in for Auckland. We've seen one for Harbour, we've seen one for Auckland already. And as has been the theme today, pretty open games, a number of goal-scoring opportunities. And Auckland now have their chance as they make their way into the little pocket and then forced almost out of it. A lot of Harbour players in that area, so they'll look to open up the play. Back to halfway. where Dwayne Rousel finds one of his teammates, and Daniel Panchia now down this left side.
They're just moving the ball, and just a turnover there. The commentators curse, but for that good passage there, they're just no panic and just let's go back, let's find the next hole and go again. And North Harbour have done well to clean that up.
Yeah, nice patience shown by the Aucklanders as they try and win back this title for the first time since 2014. So fear absence for a side of Auckland's calibre. 5-time champions of the Men's Challenge Shield, as are Harbour. So both trying to win it for the 6th time, along with Capital, certainly been the dominant teams in the Men's Challenge Shield during that Ford National Hockey League era.
It'll certainly make the drive back up State Highway 1 to either Auckland or North Harbour a bit more pleasant this evening.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yep.
Stephen Edwards there, finding George Muir. Past and present Blacksticks combining. And now it's a turnover, so Harbour having to force their way back to halfway. And then they'll come back to this left side, but cut out by Auckland and then handed straight back to Harbour. Apologies by Joe Hanks. He puts his hand up, the Auckland player, but Auckland now have it back. Marcus Child finding a runner on the right, and Jonty Kenny, who's bounced back from his blow to the eye yesterday. Now running down this right side is Matai Wells, who's got plenty of pace. Can he find the cross? Yes, he can. And then long just corner away from Kim Kingston. It'll be a long corner. So North Harbour getting in the way of that. And now Simon Child waits. Finds a teammate. And then they have to go back as the options weren't there. Couldn't find a space. And Rousel will do the same. Now to Marcus Child. Marcus Child out to this left-hand side. Attempted to come in by Hamish McGeorge. We saw him score a couple of goals yesterday. See what he can come up with. It matters most in the final. Good turnover in North Harbour territory. Now play opened up. Joe Hanks with it on his stick. He works into the midfield.
They're not afraid to move that ball around the back.
Yeah.
Just hold up and just look and look.
Harbour not going with the full press as well, so they're allowing Auckland to play along the back. But they're making it very difficult for their passing lanes as soon as they cross halfway. That's when Harbour really harass the ball carrier. And this time a nice little overhead, well brought down by Auckland, cutting back inside, trying to find Harrison Lawson, who made his way inside, was Jared Panchia, unable to find him. So Harbour coming away with the turnover. So good defensive work by Harbour, and now they'll look to break quickly. Stephen Edwards, very adept with the ball at his stick, but he's going to give away a free hit.
Well, one thing we saw in yesterday's game, Brenton, was Auckland had a very successful conversion rate from entries into the 22 and then into the circle and creating those scoring opportunities, whereas Harbour, as you've just mentioned, are squeezing them.
Yeah,
They're okay about here and saying, look, you can do what you like here, but
as soon as they cross halfway, it's been particular, and then, yeah, very much so. If they get anywhere near that red zone, that defensive zone for Harbour, there are very few spaces, and Harbour have defended well. Both sides have had opportunities so far in this game, though. Nice little work on the ball there. Makes his way back. That was Nitesh Suka. And now back at Harbour stick, just outside the circle. Nice little turn. And back it goes as Harbour now look to reset halfway. Now a bit of space there for Dylan Stevenson. He'll continue to work along this left flank, but then losing it over the sideline. Now the stick of Joe Hanks. Hanks has it back. Go for the overhead to try and find some space over that left-hand side. Does so nicely. Brought down well. Now worked into the midfield. Worked out to this right-hand side. And a bit of space now for Auckland to work into. Lovely work to get inside the circle. Can they find a teammate? Unable to do so. Well, Nick Finlayson did the hard job, but then couldn't find a teammate and couldn't threaten the goal of North Harbour. And now North Harbour looking to break. That's another handy overhead. Already you see how often the overhead is used in the men's game, more prevalent than it is in the women's game.
And there's that, again, we talked about it yesterday, and there's that the quickness of the change. 1 minute Auckland were attacking, and you're probably 15, 20 seconds, and Harbour are deep inside Auckland's 22. That's how quick things happen in this game. And, the sides have just got to stay so alert. But I'm really impressed with Harbour's defence. They're just so steady at the back, and just any threat, they're really shutting down strongly. So how do you maintain that for 60 minutes of this level of hockey? That'll be a test for them, but they've done a heck of a start.
Yeah, Harbour now having an opportunity inside the defensive zone of Auckland. And Auckland give up a free hit. Harbour, let's just take it quickly and do. Now just trying to find their way along that baseline, but the ball not finding its intended target. A bit of a breakdown in communication there between the Harbour players, and it goes out off an Auckland stick. And Harbour with the long corner. They play it around the perimeter. And now good desperation there by Chris Ashton, throwing himself at it to prevent that cross from coming in from that left flank from Harbour. Harbour, though, back with it. And you can hear the intensity down below as well in the dugout from the Auckland bench there, celebrating that turnover. And likewise, Harbour. There's a lot of intensity down there, that's for sure. There's Nick Finlayson. Nice little turn to open up space. And again, the Auckland defenders, they've got time on the ball. Harbour willing to just sag off them. As soon as they approach halfway, that's when the pressure will come. And Auckland prepared just to play it from side to side. Now in the middle of the park is Xander Fraser. He comes back to Hanks. Joe Hanks.
It was interesting, we were talking earlier about, when I was talking with David Soof about and Wayne about the nature of a final. And at times they can be the ugliest game of a tournament because there's so much riding on it. But just the nature of this one looks to be that they're, again, that defensive approach first, a slightly slower approach to the game, but, with a view to maintaining possession. And there's nothing wrong with that, that's for sure. And both teams, again, you'll see them moving the ball around the backside. We've seen those two overheads from one side of the field to the other, just with a view of keeping possession and finding some space.
A nice little run here coming from Harbour inside the circle along the baseline, and hangs his head in the air. Good defence on Richard Lum by Auckland. Now looks at the slightly dangerous overhead, and that will be free to Auckland, and a bit of a warning, I think. Was it's going to be? No, it's going to be a long corner. So back to Harbour. 3 minutes remaining in this opening quarter, which has flown by in the men's Challenge Shield final. Auckland up against Tiger Turf, North Harbour. No goal as of yet. Both sides aiming for their 5th Challenge Shield titles. And that massive shield, they want to be on it once more. So, the great trophies in New Zealand sport.
Absolutely. You need to do a bit of upper body work to carry the thing. It's huge.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty of volunteers, though. Whoever wins this Challenge Shield tonight, I want to shirk away from the responsibility of looking after the shield, that's for sure. It's not an exaggeration to say it's not too much different in size of the Ranfurly Shield. It's a big piece of wood.
Might tell a few less stories than the Ranfurly Shield, I think.
Oh, you'd hope so.
I'm sure it's got a couple, though.
As back with it, Auckland. And both sides playing similar defensively. It's not until over halfway that the pressure really comes on the ball carrier. Auckland have had that fair weight of possession, but haven't been able to create too much with it. North Harbour's actually had more circle penetrations, despite not having the weight of possession. Now they are back in that defensive area of North Harbour, but there's just so many North Harbour bodies surrounding each of the Auckland players, and that time coming up with a turnover, but it's only momentarily. And then a nice little pickpocket, but done illegally so, says the umpire. So Rousel, in fact I think it's Simon Child. Simon Child will play to Rousel, and he'll go back to the former New Zealand captain. Great to see him back playing top-level hockey back in the Black Sticks as well.
And here's their first deep overhead. And unable to control it. So interesting to see. So they go, are they counting the clock down? No, they're steady, and then they're thinking, what can I do now? Where's my opportunity before the hooter goes for the first end of our spell of 15 minutes?
Harbour now with a long overhead, taken down by Robert Capisi, but free hit given to Auckland. Now Simon Child given a bit of space and plays it out to the left-hand side. Now baseline Auckland go. What can they do here? Simon Child amongst the players, along with also Leo Matai-Wells, and it's a penalty corner. Matai-Wells there doing a wonderful job to earn the side a penalty corner. So we'll see what the Auckland battery can come up with now.
That was interesting. That started with Simon Child's been given just a little bit of space outside the 22, and that turns into, ball into the circle, and now penalty corner and the first of the game.
Yeah, we'll see. Number 13, Marcus Child to take. Trap centre set up for Jonty Kenny. Also available is Joe Hanks. And then you've got Dwayne Rousel and Hamish McGeorge. Two contenders, as well as Simon Child, if they want to go with a direct effort. It's going to go Dwayne Rousel. Rousel, stick side, save once, save twice by the Harbour keeper, and not needed a third time. Great work by North Harbour as they stop the penalty battery of the Auckland side. So the penalty corner number 1 is unsuccessful for Auckland, but very much successful for Harbour. It keeps it scoreless, 0-0, as we fast approach quarter time here at the Tauranga Hockey Centre.
He's a big keeper, tall and solid, but you could just see the speed of reflexes in that there too. His size doesn't slow him down at all, and that is a vital. And just before the first end of the quarter, and again, as we say, we're now celebrating the other end.
Yeah, Harbour, almost an opportunity there. Well dealt with by Auckland as they clear their lines. As we go to quarter time here at Tauranga Hockey Centre, and it is scoreless in the Men's Challenge Shield final between Auckland and Tiger Turf North Harbour. Both sides have had their opportunities. Auckland with a potential chance to grab the lead just before quarter time with the penalty corner. Well, double save by Harbour's goalkeeper. And then we saw, what is the modern day goalkeeper? Tall, big, but very agile, able to get down low. And great double save by Harbour to keep it the stalemate it is.
That'll boost his confidence and certainly the confidence of his team to just secure that. Interesting. Both teams, I think, will be pleased with that first quarter. It reminded me something of a first round of a boxing match where the two guys are just looking at it, testing, just trying to get themselves, getting their natural rhythm themselves, and then just seeing, having a look and seeing, is there a gap somewhere for me? What can I do here? What am I facing today? And they've both done a bit of that. And I think both will be pleased. They've had chances, but they've both had, some really great defensive patterns as well. And, good quarter of hockey.
Yeah, a long feeling out period, but as soon as either made a little mistake, either mentally or physically, the other would pounce, and there were opportunities created by both North Harbour and Auckland. Opportunity here at quarter time to say a special thanks to our Ford NHL partners for the naming rights sponsor of the Ford National Hockey League, Tauranga City Council, Tect, Trillion Trust, Educare, Kookaburra and Vantage, who are principal partner of Hockey New Zealand. Without all the great work of our Ford NHL partners, the last 9 days wouldn't have been possible, and we certainly wouldn't have been able to bring you these 8 games over the weekend. That's the 8th and final game, of course, the culmination of this Ford National Hockey League. We've had the Women's K-Cup final. North Harbour taking out that. Now, will it be Auckland or Tiger Turf North Harbour who take out this Men's Challenge Shield? It's Auckland getting us back underway. Second quarter action. Playing down this left side. So, wanting to pin North Harbour down in the area. The pressure didn't come, so had time to do the overhead, but that's going to be a simple free hit given to Auckland. And now Marcus Child gets himself out of trouble, just turns out of a bit of a cul-de-sac and goes back to a teammate. Now a bit more of a press coming from North Harbour there, but still just around that halfway area. Now a bit of space down the right-hand flank. They cut back inside, but it's a wayward pass. way away from an Auckland player, but then won back by Hanks. He does well to undo his poor pass, but then he gives it away again. So Harbour say thank you very much and quickly look to turn defence into attack, and now they have a chance to pour a few numbers forward. Free hit earned. Now looking for options. Harbour will go back.
I'll be intrigued to see if the teams introduce new things in this quarter. Again, they wrestled a bit in the first. Will they be thinking, what have I got to do? What have I got to do differently? What have I got to add to give myself an opportunity to score in this game?
So Mitch Haid, one of the defenders for Harbour, switching the play to the right-hand side, and that's where they are now, making their way down the right-hand flank, trying to get into that little pocket just to the right of the circle. As they look at things, the ball pops into the circle somehow, and then
there it is.
Look at that, pouncing on the loose opportunity, and I think that might have been Robbie Capisi. We'll have to wait and catch a number of that one, but that was great work, and I think it was number 13, Robbie Capisi, and it just somehow bounced this way and well controlled, and then just tipped past the keeper's left hand, and that is Harbour breaking the deadlock. Tiger Turf North Harbour 1, Auckland 0. Just 2 minutes gone in the second period.
And it's again, just the presence of mind in that circle. The ball came in with a bit of a bobble. His first instinct, just get it under control. And the second one, how do I pop this in? That's a great level of skill on display here. And, done in a fraction of a second. So, some great work to get Harbour's first goal. And they'll be very pleased with that as we go into just inside 12 minutes still to go in the second quarter, excuse me.
Yeah, Jonty Kenny as well almost managed to get on the end of a long ball straight from the restart as well. And it could have easily been 1-0, but not able to get that telling touch, unlike number 13 for Harbour, Robbie Capisi, and wonderfully well. And it seemed like a few Auckland players just hesitated for a moment as the ball bobbled, and it was a crucial moment that they hesitated. Capisi pounced, Capisi scored, and Harbour leading 1-0. Now a nice turn and shot just wide of the goal. Bit of a warning shot for North Harbour and their goalkeeper, Ali Copper. Ali Copper, big man, but he got down low as that shot flashed by his right-hand post.
It's interesting. A few years ago, I've worked with some goalkeepers and used to instruct them to sort of follow the ball from halfway, and then as it gets towards the 22, just make sure you're near where you are, and and there's this gradual build-up, and then they'll be in the circle soon, and you've got to make sure you're in the right spot there. Now you've got a second to do that. The ball's travelling so quickly.
Yeah, there's no gradual build-up most of the time. It's pretty quick. It's in the circle, and then it's in the back of the net, almost in equal quick time.
And even with that turn, he was marked turn and a shot. The skill level is so high now.
Captain for Harbour, Coghlan. Back, their defenders. Auckland coming with a bit more of a press that time, and it created the error in the end because the Harbour player maybe wasn't quite ready and unable to take that trap. Should have been a relatively simple trap.
You don't see that often here.
On the sideline. And the pressure of finals, perhaps. Now Auckland looking to bounce back in this battle of the bridge, the men's challenge shield decider. Good crowd in attendance once more. Sun will sit behind those fans. Far side from our commentary position as we look at things. Auckland winning a free hit, in fact giving up a free hit just outside the Harbour circle. So now they can relieve the pressure somewhat. George Muir goes back to his Harbour teammate. Now Coghlan, the captain for Harbour, loves a bit of a dribble, but then he gives it away. In fact, came off Marcus Child's foot. And now Harbour once more. This time George Muir gets a running shoes on. Spreads it out to this right-hand side. Bit of space for Harbour to work into. Well cut out by Auckland. And Harbour break out of there. Defensive area with a nice little run here.
Yeah, they had success down that right-hand channel that led to their goal, but I think Auckland were awake to that, have made adjustments, and they were not getting an easy passage into the circle that time.
Harbour tried to expose the gap in behind Joe Hanks on that right half position, who had made that run on the left-hand side. He wasn't there. They're unable to connect as it goes out, and now Auckland allowed to play on. Marcus Child with the ball on his stick. It's harassed by one of the strikers for Harbour. Now Rouse dwelled on it for a moment, but then did well to get rid of it. Now Hanks back inside. Child now finding a teammate further up the field, but the Harbour players converge, almost run into each other to come out with the turnover. Now Harbour coming over halfway as Simon Child comes off for a break. And Harbour will restart. Benji Edwards.
Yeah, the turf has got a good bit of water on it, but it's needed to have that today. It's a bit of a breeze which can dry it out an amount, but just certainly the temperature today down at the turf is warm, so they've been watering them regularly between games.
Yeah, the cannons will be turned on at half-time to make sure that the players are wet and the fans are wet as well.
Yeah, well,
our commentary position gets a bit wet.
I got caught earlier today with one of those too, just before the first game. So you've got to keep on your toes when you're in and around the turf.
I think it's got nothing to do with keeping the turf nice and fast. I think it's all about trying to catch some of the fans unawares. I've got no doubt about it.
I was lucky at the time. I was just by the dugout downstairs and I managed to whip round the corner quick enough, but there were plenty that just got caught out first thing this morning. But that's the nature of the beast at a hockey turf.
It is indeed. You've always got to be thinking about the cannon. As soon as there's no game on, the cannons are pretty much going to go. So back to the action halfway through this second quarter of the men's Challenge Shield final between Auckland and Tiger Turf North Harbour. Auckland looking to make their way back inside the Harbour half. They do with relative ease, but then it gets tougher as soon as they get anywhere near the defensive zone for Harbour. And Harbour again looking the more likely side on attack, especially in the counter. This time though, George Muir is turned over and Auckland will look to break. Good strong tackle by Harbour. George Muir collects the scraps and now finds a teammate. It's Haid. Now over to that right hand side with it. Ball goes further forward. Harbour still with it now inside the defensive zone of Auckland, trying to find that penetrating ball into the Auckland circle. Unable to do so, but it will be a long corner for North Harbour.
Got to speak with Cam Haid's father, Glenn, earlier this afternoon, and he was saying he's a good staunch Canterbury man and still down there, and he's saying he's having to summon up the courage to support North Harbour this afternoon, but it was taking a bit of arm wringing, but a dad does what a dad has to do, and he was looking forward to seeing his boys playing this afternoon.
Yeah, we had, I think, another family member in the final last night, wasn't it?
Yes,
for the Canterbury Beavers.
Yeah.
The men's national senior tournament. Successful last night. We'll see if we can be more family success from the big one, the men's Challenge Shield. As the encouragement continues from the dugouts underneath. Our commentary position here at Tauranga Hockey Centre as Harbour inside the circle. Nice little stick work that time by Cullen Jerem.
We've only seen the one corner so far in the game, I think it is, to Auckland, is that it?
Yeah, certainly that I can remember. Haven't been that many opportunities for PCs at all. In contrast to the women's final where Northland were racking them up.
Oh, I know. Yes.
Without any success, unfortunately, for Northland, as they had to settle for the silver medal. So North Harbour's already won one national title, the Women's K Cup. Can they make it a double? There's a nice little dribble inside the Auckland danger area. Now Steve Edwards going back. All the way back to Coghlan, Harbour skipper, who will now move forward. Coghlan and his midfield roll back towards halfway, and now trying to pick through a gap, unable to do so, but then Harbour coming back up with it. Coghlan spreading it out wide, all the way back it goes for that deep run. It's coming shorter. but the ball was already played, the overhead, looking for that deep run, so it goes out over the baseline, and Auckland will have possession back on their stick. Less than 5 minutes remaining now in this second quarter. That
Auckland,
PC, the difference still.
Defeated North Harbour 2-0 in the top 4 pool play. So they'll have some confidence there, but North Harbour say just with that, there's taking a bit of time going, right, well, I'm going to stroll up here, and they're allowing themselves just a little bit of a breather both sides and allowing these things to happen. But once it gets down to the action, it's fast and furious.
Yeah, very intense, very tight quarters stuff. Almost a calm before the storm as both sides cross into the opposition's half. That's when it becomes a real contest, just like that. That fight for the ball. Harbour doing very well to retain possession there inside their own half. Couldn't afford a turnover in such an important area of the field. Steve Edwards there playing back to one of his teammates who's gone with the overhead. Harbour not giving up the chase there and doing well, but not quite getting on the end of it. And Auckland will have possession back. Again, playing out from the back. Look to just bring it forward a couple of feet. Now, Simon Child, a chance to pick the pass. Two Child brothers have been influential for Auckland, but are unable to find that ball that has really cut through the Harbour defence. We saw a wonderful defensive performance by the Harbour women. And the Harbour men maybe playing off that script as well, as they are defending very resolutely also. As now this is a nice little mazy run, but broken up by Harbour. Good tackle.
Just good strong tackle and strength in and around the tackler to bump them off the ball, and away they go.
And now Harbour with a chance to move some numbers forward as they move onto the right side. A bit of a collision. Harbour when the free hit and play on, and when another free hit just outside the circle. So good work that time by Cam Haid. So two Haids in the Harbour team. We had one also playing for the Canterbury Beavers last night. The Beavers winning the men's title, the National Senior Tournament. It was a pleasure bringing those finals last night in the senior tournament before the whole restructure, of course, of the Ford National League for next year.
Canterbury will be pretty pleased. All 4 of their teams at the tournament came away with medals, so it's they'll be very pleased with that strength in the last year of this format.
Yeah, dead right. There's another penetrating run into the circle and a penalty corner. Wow, with just over a minute remaining in the period, and Harbour win their first PC. So Auckland done so well to avoid any issues. There's been a few circle penetrations by Harbour, but they hadn't been able to find a foot to win a penalty corner. And this time, they will have just that opportunity.
Comes the instruction from the sideline.
Yeah, and Leon Hayward in goal. See what he can do. We saw a great save from a penalty stroke from Ryan Bezadenhout in the game yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that was a thing of beauty.
Leon Hayward, will he be called on to make something similar, but from a penalty corner? We'll have to wait and see. It'll be Xavier Guy. A new black stick to take. And Harbour with a variation here, reverse stick, and a goal.
Successful, wasn't it?
So, the reverse stick, switching it up, going to the right and coming back to the left. And it's James Coghlan, I believe, the captain. Number 1 who has scored for North Harbour.
We've talked about the idea, have they got something new to play in this and there? And they went to the other side for the dragger rather than coming on the bottom left corner as we look at the screen. They went to the other side, and there it is. Some variation, change, time. And that's a heck of a shot as you're hitting the ground.
Yeah, and beaten at the near post. You won't be happy about that, Leon Hayward. And the goal eventually awarded, so there were some discussions between the two umpires. The Auckland, you saw straight away when the goal was scored, they wanted to talk to the other umpire. So the umpires consulted, the goal awarded. So Harbour, wow, just like the women, so clinical. This Harbour side, when they've had their opportunities, they've taken them.
Yep.
And James Coghlan, the captain,
one corner
for Harbour.
goal.
And they lead by 2-0 in the shadow of half-time. Auckland with an opportunity now to play on. Can they grab one back before half-time? 30 seconds remain.
The chat's still going furiously downstairs. You can hear both sides and the voices out of the dugout. There's a lot going on.
It certainly is.
We'll be looking for a response from that.
Yeah, this will be the last chance for Auckland. A little over 10 seconds. They'll try and crash the ball up the middle. See if they can get a touch. Well, dealt with outside the area. And now Harbour will just carry for a few seconds. And that will do us for the half. So, great half for North Harbour as they look to emulate the Tiger Turf North Harbour women. The men leading Auckland 2-0 in this Challenge Shield final at the half. A fine performance by North Harbour. The goal from James Coghlan right in the shadow of half-time from a penalty corner. And taken all their opportunities. Been a pretty cagey first half, Nigel Gregory. But Harbour, what a performance from them to capitalise on their opportunities.
Yeah, and they've done that. They've done that well. And that's, again, we looked at the first quarter was a wrestle. This one they started throwing a few punches and a couple of big hits there from the Harbour side. They'll be very pleased with that. They haven't been inundated with a huge number of opportunities, but when they've got in there, they've made them count, and they've been very accurate and strong in what they did, and inventive, as we saw from that penalty corner. Not content to just plug away with their game. They go, right, what else do we add? What else do we add? And they came up with that penalty corner variation and got the reward.
2 goals in the second quarter for North Harbour. The first from Robbie Capisi, a field goal. The second, a PC to James Coghlan, as North Harbour in the Men's Challenge Shield final here at the Tauranga Hockey Centre, who are leading Auckland 2-0.
They say that the future of humanity is virtual, a place where our personalities are uploaded, and every moment of our life is played out in cyberspace. But what do they know? Ford Mustang. The future belongs to those who build it.
Hockey New Zealand's coverage of the Ford National Hockey League is proudly brought to you by Ford New Zealand in association with our hosts Tauranga Hockey and the Tauranga City Council, and thanks to key partners Tect, Trillion Trust, Educare, and Vantage Windows and Doors, principal partner of Hockey New Zealand.
Welcome back to the Tauranga Hockey Centre in Blake Park, beautiful Mount Maunganui, as we're half-time in the Men's Challenge Shield Final, the 2019 Ford National Hockey League. And it is Tiger Turf North Harbour who are leading Auckland 2-0. We have a chance to see those 2 goals. It was after a scoreless first quarter. Then came a really opportunistic effort as it just bobbled into the Auckland circle, and on hand to knock it home is Robbie Capizzi. Robbie Capizzi, the first goal for Harbour. There had been very few goal-scoring opportunities for either side at that stage. Very cagey match. Both sides really struggling to penetrate the circle too often. And then shortly before half-time, Auckland have had a PC that failed to convert from, but then Harbour, a good worked effort, going to the right initially, then coming out to the left. And the captain, James Coghlan, boy, did he enjoy that one as he reverse sticked past the Auckland goalkeeper in Leon Hayward. And 2-0 to North Harbour, despite the protestations.
I think
Nigel Gregory.
They were wondering whether there was a foot in there somewhere, but I saw the Harbour player in front got up in the air and out of the way very quickly there, and a great, because the players were heading to the ground, and that's just determination and effort to make the most of that small opportunity they had.
Yeah,
It's a pop. Yep, he was on the ground when he scored that, and just fantastic hockey. They'll be really pleased with that. It's important in a final like this to get some ascendancy. Although we know it can change so very, very quickly. To have that wrestle in the first quarter and then to get 2 goals in the second, they'll feel pleased and confident about that. And Auckland, well, they're going to have to really think, well, what do we do? Because we saw them yesterday. Brenton, you and I watched the game against Capital, and they created opportunities. They seem to be, at will almost getting into the 22 and then into the circle. They haven't had that today. So have they got to reinvent what they're doing? Is there something that their game needs to add, or is it just a fact they're facing a very strong and determined defensive unit? And so those will be the questions I imagine will be getting asked and answered in the dressing rooms right now.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to do something differently, because Harbour, what they showed there in that opening half an hour, very resolute on defence. There's very few passing lanes at all for Auckland to try and exploit. It's so congested in that defensive end for North Harbour. They're doing a great job plugging up all the holes. And so Auckland were going to have to go about things a bit differently if they'd have any success, you'd think. And they need to find goals. They need at least 2 of them. If we're to go to a penalty shootout, we haven't seen one here on the Port turf. All the shootouts have been on the beach turf. So maybe we still have some late drama in the final game of this 2019 Ford National Hockey League. And a special thanks to all our Ford NHL partners for the naming rights sponsor of the Ford National Hockey League, the Tauranga City Council, Tect, Trillion Trust, Educare, Kookaburra, and of course Vantage, the principal partner of Hockey New Zealand.
And we're very fortunate to have representatives of those groups in with us today whereas we had the women's award ceremony before, and had the VIPs in, and they've enjoyed a day of hockey here. And again, it's nice to see their faces here, to see what their support of hockey brings and the spectacle that we have here in Tauranga. Good crowds in, boosted again. We've got 2 associated, 2 tournaments running side by side. You've got good numbers, but there've been good visitors in here as well. We've had the perfect weather for it. Sun's starting to go down here in Tauranga. Shadow's not too long over there, but if you look on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll just see the stand is in shade, and the shadows will just start creeping across. So probably in the next 15, 20 minutes, that may have an impact, and we may see the lights come on. But certainly warm enough down there, and at the pace they're playing this game, it's not a surprise.
Yeah, absolutely. Still beautiful conditions for hockey. A light breeze coming off across the ground, but nothing too significant that's going to affect the play in any way. As Auckland in their huddle, final instructions for their team. Marcus Child, the captain of this Auckland team, try and marshal a turnaround. As Nigel Gregory mentioned before, Auckland got the better of North Harbour by the scoreline, 2-0 in round robin a couple of days ago. In the top 4 pool play. But so far, it's North Harbour doing the job. Goals to Robbie Capizzi and James Coghlan. And all the work to do for Auckland in the second 30 minutes.
I'm going to be keeping an ear out for the chatter. We've had a lot of it from downstairs today, just below us here. And, the Auckland side, they've got to get back in there. If it goes quiet, does it mean they're a bit scared and they're button off? Or is it just they're going to really start working, get the energy levels up, look for those new things? What's going to come out in the second half of the 2019 Ford National Hockey League final?
And we're ready to go. George Muir to get us underway for Harbour. Just waiting the official orders. The players have been ready for a couple of minutes now. A bit of banter going out in the middle as well. I think Simon Child's sharing a few words with George Muir. Big smile across George Muir's face as he now gets us underway. Harbour with it. So Harbour now playing from left to right in their familiar colours. Blue and white of Auckland playing from right to left. As we view things here from our commentary position. Free hit given up. And Auckland breaking up that attack though. And now they'll look to push forward and we'll see what kind of adjustments the two sides have made. As Panchia makes his way down, Jared Panchia. More than 120 games for New Zealand now. Experienced member of the side. Former Blackstick and Rousel. And making its way back to Daniel Panchia. And now they open up the play, Auckland, to that left-hand side, but pass just away from the stick there of Auckland. So a let off for Harbour. It was looking promising. There was an opportunity there for Auckland. You can see sun straight in the players' eyes as they look back towards that left-hand side. There's no excuse for the missed trap though on that side because they're got the sun at their backs.
Oh no, here's the overhead.
Yeah, too much on it. Over the baseline, and it'll be Auckland ball once more. Third quarter action here in the men's Challenge Shield final. Auckland and Tiger Turf, North Harbour, the battle of the bridge. So far it's going North Harbour's way, but there is time for Auckland as they look to make some inroads up this right-hand side, once more. Jared Panchia making some inroads, but his touch goes too far. North Harbour to clean up, and then the big toe punt to get rid of that one. And that one enjoyed by the crowd by the sounds of things. Harley Cooper getting rid of that one.
I don't want this in here, thank you very much.
Yeah, anywhere out of the circle, and he's happy.
I'm sure
he got the result.
He'll have a wee chat with someone.
Steve Edwards finding Coghlan. Back to Steve Edwards. A couple of past Blacksticks and Coghlan and Edwards having some success down that right flank. Edwards. Coghlan making his way inside a couple of Auckland players, then earning the free hit just outside the circle, so no penalty corner. But they're in the circle now, Harbour. What can they do? Nice bit of patience, trying to find a foot. Auckland try and clear. Unable to do so, but then all Harbour can do is take it over the baseline, so it'll be Auckland ball.
That's good defence from the Auckland side, just as Harbour were looking to work their way in there. And then they'd put 4 players into the circle before the ball got in there.
Nice turn by Matai Wells that time. Now Panchia in a more advanced role, trying to make his way into the circle, unable to do so. And then Simon Child goes tumbling, almost doing a cartwheel. Simon Child.
It's getting physical. There's a bit of that happening in the last wee while.
Good way to test out the hip.
Yes.
If it wasn't 100% recovered. Certainly a good way to see how it's going. It seemed to pull up okay there. He went crashing to the ground, Simon Child. Now his younger brother and Marcus Child. Nice little pirouette to almost lose his man. Harbour coming off that baseline, managing to knock it away from the Auckland.
This can be a bit of a challenge with that sun as it heads down. Harbour will be looking into that sun as it's setting here.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a factor playing towards our commentary position side.
And the lights have been turned on.
Well, they have indeed. Well, picked up. You did say it must be a local or something, Nigel. In the next 10, 15 minutes, you said it was going to happen, and so it did.
I just asked people who know a lot more than me, Brendan, and I'll copy what they say.
As Joe Hanks gives up free hit, so Harbour back with it. Oh, almost in reach there for Jonty Kenny.
Yep.
And now Harbour, though, they have possession. Trying to make some headway down this right-hand side. They'll come back, well harassed by Auckland. It's back to the defenders for Harbour. And it comes unstuck off an Auckland stick.
Yeah, interesting to see that lead. That was the first time I've probably seen that in this game. A player heading forward and just taking one hand off the stick, which allows you to inject your maximum pace because you can bring your body up for your running. And he got 5 or 10 metres, but then it was shut down. So as much as he gave himself that extra pace, Auckland were wary to it and managed to shut it down.
This is the second or third run of this quarter for Jared Panchia. Been very effective early. Certainly, I think maybe been orders from Coach James Grant to try and get more involved, and he certainly has. Didn't see a lot of time in that first half, Panchia. And they try to switch the play with the overhead. Goes out over the sideline. So now Auckland have it through Finlayson. Finlayson looking long. Try to get the return pass from his teammate in Kingston. Unable to do so. Then Harbour lose it over the sideline. And it's back on the Auckland stick. And they look to reset. Rousel on halfway.
Was all alone there for a moment in that camera shot.
Yeah, the time to pick the pass. And ball comes into the areas from outside the circle, so it couldn't have scored from outside the circle, but looking for a deflection, didn't come. Now Auckland have it back on their stick. They switch the point of attack. Now working their way into this corner. Try and sneak their way inside. Wanted the penalty corner, didn't get it. You see the stick angrily smashed into the ground. That's not to be, and the umpire's letting that go. A little bit of a dissent from the Auckland player as they take that long corner now. Nice little run baseline, but it's going to come to nothing. I think that was Simon Child that time for Auckland. Unable to find a teammate, though.
It's an interesting one when we've talked about the influence of the umpires and the way that the umpires and players interact. There's another 11-man code where that dive probably would have been, well, that dive might have gone a bit further and rolled for about 5 minutes as if he's been shot. But here it's you take the ground, you look at the umpire, you ask the question if you want to, but not very often. And then the umpire says no, and you can get up and you take off. And I think it's the way that works between the players and the umpires. You very seldom actually even see something like that. It's just generally they get on with the game. The umpires let it flow, which and offer a lot of advantage, so the game flows. And I think the players in turn saying, well, look, if I think something happened and you say no, look, I'm fine and I'll agree with you there, unless I really do disagree. But it allows this game of hockey to really flow, be open, and a fascinating game to watch. And for the players, a great game to play in.
Yeah, breathe them a lot tougher in hockey, that's for sure.
Yes.
They certainly see far too much of that. Must be said in men's football. You don't see it in women's football at all.
Oh, geez, they're tough.
Only men's football, you see the rolling around and the histrionics.
Yep.
Certainly don't see that in either men's or women's hockey.
No, you get laughed off the turf in about 3 seconds flat, I would imagine.
Yeah, he wouldn't be welcome back.
No.
Harbour here. Looking to go with the overhead. Auckland tried to bring it under control, but then it's going to go over the baseline, I think. So Auckland quickly take the restart. Working across field to Harrison Lawson. Now all the way back to Rousel, who's still inside his 22 area. And then sloppy by Auckland, unable to control on the sideline.
There are some mistakes creeping in, which we haven't seen. Missed traps or just passes that aren't reaching the man. We've seen probably 2 or 3 overheads they've gone to go across field or lengthwise that have gone out. So they're just those errors in judgment are coming in. But after 9 days of hockey, you're not too surprised.
Yeah, you could forgive that more on this side when the players are trying to trap it if they're getting a ball looking straight into the sun. But on the other side, they don't have that issue. So really at this level, you expect a bit better. So maybe, it's the weariness of the, 7 games in 9 days. And the pressure, of course, of a final as well as Ty Wells now streaks forward. Can he keep possession? Yes, he can. He's got pace. He's a dangerous player going forward. Black stick player, of course, as it tries the reverse stick cross, but it's well dealt with by Harbour. Out for the long corner.
Yesterday afternoon, I just happened to be on the turf for the end of the Floyd Shield final with Tasman and Tauranga BOP. And I went over to have a chat and congratulate one of the Tauranga players. And as I approached her, she just looked up to me and used a very short, direct term to describe how fatigued she was at the end of her week of hockey. And she just was just done. Just said by the end of it, that was it, I'm finished. And had put everything she could into the game and just wanted to just go and sit down for a while.
Yeah, I think that's been a general feeling amongst a lot of the players playing their final games, not just yesterday, but also today. Players certainly have given it their all over these 8 and 9 days of competition. 8 for the National Senior Tournament, 9 for the Ford National Hockey League. There's now Harbour trying to make some inroads. Yeah. Great mazy run along the baseline, then finding a player at that back stick, but missing the target, Harbour. How did they miss? Well, this lovely mazy run, which opened up the space.
Yeah.
And then trying to find... almost a criminal miss that by Cam Haid at the back stick.
They'll have a word after that. That was just...
played for New Zealand, Cam Haid, and you expect better from a player at the back post. Really late on a plate from him. Time too.
That was a beautiful carry of the ball, and that was just sitting there.
And how costly could that be as the Auckland come down the other end? And they score.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
I'll have that, thank you. Here's the goal scorer.
Yeah, well, we see just how crucial that bit could be, because straight down the other end, Shea Iswap scores for Auckland. Harbour should have scored. Auckland do score. Lovely turn, rolls his man, and one-on-one.
Yeah.
The keeper tried to come out and cut down the angle, unable to do so. Harley Copper, and that is 2-1. The Battle of the Bridge is on. Well and truly, 3.5 minutes remain, third quarter. And it's now Tiger Turf North Harbour 2, Auckland 1.
Well, that's just at a golden opportunity at one end, and 10 seconds later, it's a goal at the other end. When Auckland haven't had a great number of real scoring opportunities, they got one, and as they did yesterday, they made it count. That'll boost them. That'll really boost them. With just heading towards 3 minutes left in the third quarter here at Tauranga Hockey Centre.
There's Auckland. Buoyed by that goal, back in the game. Can they get another one in quick succession? And Jared Panchia thought he had earned a free hit, and he is judged to just outside the circle. Taken quickly by Simon Child, who loses it momentarily, but only as far as an Auckland player. Marcus Child now spreads it out to this left side. Reverse stick coming in from McGeorge. George unable to find a Auckland stick though, and it will
another long corner.
Long corner.
Open up a bit of a hole on their left-hand side as they went forward. Auckland.
Yeah, there was plenty of space there, wasn't there, for Auckland players to move into.
They go there again.
Yeah, it's back to McGeorge. Now working baseline. Auckland. It's the as well the goal scorer, I think, who was involved there. And now Simon Child just trying to peg Harbour inside this territory here, make it hard for Harbour to get out, and it only goes as far as Auckland, as far as Marcus Child. Does very well, and he's able to go all the way back. He's got that outlet back there, and Dwayne Rousel.
Where are they heading? He's coming down. Is he looking in that left-hand pocket again? No, heading right this time.
Yeah, the commands coming from the dugout as well. Just swing it, boys, from side to side, telling the players to be patient. The opening will come, and they've certainly had to be patient against this Harbour side who've given them very little.
Yeah.
And now the turnover comes. Harbour themselves were patient there. Waited for the error from Auckland. It came from McGeorge. And now Harbour a chance to clear their lines. Going with the overhead. It finds a teammate. Well taken down by Muir, showing his international class. Muir now searching ball into the circle. No Harbour player can get onto the end of that, though. And that goes safely for Auckland over the baseline. And now Auckland, will they get one final opportunity in this third quarter? They pulled one goal back. That 2-goal halftime deficit is now 1. Are they happy with their lot? Just want to talk things over at three-quarter time. What do they believe?
Yeah,
there's one more chance. But this has been their approach, isn't it? Very deliberate, methodical approach, waiting for a hole. And that's
a turn.
Yeah, bad. The pass wasn't bad, but Daniel Panchia unable to control. That one goes over the sideline. So Harbour, just a matter of seconds remaining now. We'll go with the overhead, the more direct method, and see if they can have any joy with that.
They're going to beat the hooter. Let's see.
No, nope, they're not going to beat the hooter because that's three-quarter time there. So Auckland pull a goal back in the third quarter. Shea Azwar gets a goal for Auckland. Really came against the run of play at that stage as well. Had a good period for Harbour. Harbour should have scored. Golden opportunity for Cam Haid at the back post. He missed, and straight down the other end, Auckland go. Shea Azwar scores. And we've got a one-goal game. Game on very much in this men's Challenge Shield Battle of the Bridge as we see this lovely turn.
Yep.
So Marcus Child putting it on the right side for Iswa, and Iswa in one motion turns. Look at this, the body turn, spins his man.
Yeah, that's great skill on there. He's got a player right on top of him. And you know, the defender would have a look at it. Well, I know where I think he's probably going to head here, but he had no chance of stopping him. Such was the skill level there. Well, we maybe got the other question here. We talked about at the start of this second half as to whether the chatter would stop from Auckland, and it didn't. It got up, and especially towards the end of that quarter, there was more and more urgency was there. They were building some ascendancy and looking really good. What does Harbour do now? You know, do they go, oh, okay, we're okay now, or are they a bit gun-shy? They're a bit scared. You know, they've got their defence was very, very strong in the first quarter. You know, have there been some holes open up this time? And as we get into the final quarter here at Tauranga Hockey Centre, fatigue is going to sneak in. You know, how does that decision process stay to make sure you're doing the right things for the next 15 minutes? There's a gold medal sitting on this.
Absolutely there is, and both sides want it so much. It'll be the 6 titles for either side, whoever wins this. For Harbour, it'd be their second in 3 years. Runners up they were last year. Auckland, they haven't won it since 2014. So maybe it means a bit extra to them. Certainly the Harbour players wouldn't say that, though. Means a lot to them as well. They want this men's Challenge Shield back on their side of the bridge.
And there would be a nice double header for their women's side, having won the K Cup just
exactly
a couple of hours ago. So there'll be they'll have some real inspiration. And just what do they come again? They were inventive to score their goal. The last quarter of this game, perhaps they got something new to add.
As Auckland come up with the loose ball. Panchia, one to another. And there was one foul, says the coach, and then there's probably another one.
Yeah.
A bit of outrage down below from Coach James Grant in the Auckland dugout.
He's got a green card, and just you saw the minute the hand went in the back, and then when both arms go up in the air in protestation of his innocence, well, it's just a sign that you're not. And again, we talked about some of the nature of the game, just again how it flows in here. When players get a green card, it's automatic 2 minutes in hockey. No one stops and questions. They're just going, I've got to get out of here. This game's going to carry on, and I'm not going to get in the way. And again, just very quick, just get off the field, sit on the naughty chair for 2 minutes, and then they're back into it.
Yeah, you almost don't know what happens because it happens so quickly. It's very easy to miss a card in hockey.
Yeah,
because they happen quickly. The player gets off quickly, and obviously with the green card, just you say the 2 minute suspension. And he won't be in the naughty chair for very long. Auckland, can they capitalise on this numerical superiority for this short period? Can they equalise? Because they're well and truly back in this game. Simon Child diving full length to try and keep this one in. He does. but Harbour coming up with a loose ball. So an Auckland teammate unable to get on the end of that effort from Simon Child. Well, it certainly looks back to his best physically, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Chasing that one down. No concerns to throw his body at that. It's a great sign.
Yeah, absolutely. Having come back from that injury and just sort of, there's, sometimes that'll just make you a bit gun-shy, but certainly does not seem to be the case at all. It's a brave and a strong man who's managed to do that. That'll take some work, and he's done so well to be back at this level and to be performing so well at this level.
Yeah, well, more than 2 years it's been out of hockey, really, at any decent level. Turning to the club game this year, of course, in Auckland, and now here at the Ford National Hockey League after that serious hip injury earlier in 2017. Now Harbour. An opportunity for them. Xavier Guy, one of the new breed of Black Six players. He's played for Auckland as well, so he very much knows what this rivalry is all about from the other side of the coin. I'm trying to win it for Harbour. There's Harbour. Have another opportunity to try and feed it into the circle. It's going to be a free hit again just outside. They try and switch the play. Now they'll try one more time from this right side. It's a decent ball through the circle. And much to the relief of Leon Hayward in goal for Auckland, it just goes through the circle and past the goal. Now Auckland with a bit of space down this right-hand side. Want the free hit. They get it. Marcus Child takes it quickly. Finds a nice lead runner. Plays it off his foot. Free hit. Oh, no. Not deemed to be the case.
Ball lifted.
Yeah, lifted ball.
Yep.
Close range. Yeah. Now Harbour. Can they restore some semblance of control in this game, which has in some ways slipped away from them? Auckland, the ascendancy since half-time. They've pulled a goal back. The lead is a bit more shaky ground now for Harbour. Still those 2 goals in the first half from Robbie Capisi and James Coghlan for Harbour against the 1 goal for Shea as well. The second half for Auckland. Been a goal scoring action in this game. Tick over 10 minutes remaining. Plenty of time for Auckland.
Yeah, they seem to be liking this bottom right-hand corner of the Auckland attack. They're certainly getting in deep. The next step is how do they get in the circle and get a shot on goal.
Yeah, maybe something I identified at the half or even at 3/4 time as whiteboards were out as well. A nice little flick on, trying to find Kim Kingston in the circle. Yeah, and well defended by Harbour. As they will have the restart. Simon Child, the furthest man forward for Auckland.
It's a reasonably short 5 metres, but he'll stay there until he's told otherwise.
Yeah, certainly from that angle. Looked like he was all over him. Auckland back with it. Rousel. There's time on the ball to try and pick a pass. And decent one going all the way to the Harbour circle. Harbour bringing it under control initially, but then it goes over the sideline where Auckland will restart in possession. Back out by Harbour. Auckland back with it. George. Back to Rousel.
In the middle.
Another searching ball up the middle.
Is that a foot inside?
I thought there was something. And the Harbour players will protest. I think they're going to have a bit of a chat, the 2 umpires. Yep, just going to have a chat. Say, players, please leave me alone for a bit. I'm going to have a little chat to my teammate.
Yep.
Fellow umpire.
So come down and have a look at, because again, this is one of the things the umpires work really hard at, is the second umpire getting in, and when it's heading to the circle, getting into a position where he can also see what's going on.
It certainly looked like it came off a foot. The stick was in the area as well.
He's saying no. He said, she said. What's the decision going to be? Did it go between his legs? Looks that way. So they're just... Oh,
And they decide to restart.
Yep.
So rather sporting of two teams in the end. Harbour will just give the ball back to Auckland, and obviously in a dangerous position. Auckland able to almost continue where they left off. But Auckland now give up possession. But it's a good little spell for Auckland, keeping Harbour pinned inside their half. Now a bit of space on this left-hand side. Now move back centrally to Marcus Child. Can he pick a pass away through? Is there a PC this time? No, well, I thought they had something.
yeah.
Matai Wells was appealing towards the other umpire. Nothing to be given. And now Coghlan with a bit of space down this right-hand side. Finds a willing runner in Jerem.
And to the credit of the players, even though they were pretty convinced they had a foot there, the decision went the other way, and they just went away. That's it. They have asked the question, doesn't get, they go, and the game carries on too. And even this late stage in a Ford National Hockey League final, the players get on with things.
Yeah, they do indeed. Now North Harbour, 8 minutes away from winning back the Men's Challenge Shield, their second title in 3 years. Can they hold on? Can they add another one to make it safe potentially here? Rouse will cut that one out. Now Auckland allowed to play on through Panchia. Panchia trying to dribble through Harbour, and that's well defended, and Harbour have it back. That was nice work by George Muir on his Black Sticks teammate.
They'll be happy for some possession. They haven't seen a lot of it for a while. They'll be nice to just get hold of the ball.
Yeah, certainly in
get
this
some
area.
Territory and just get back into this game. Auckland's had a good stranglehold on it. And if they were to get a second goal, then we're in for a heck of a task. Going to be a real fight for Harbour. Now they've got some ball. Can they stamp some authority in this last quarter? We're under 7 minutes left in the 2019 Ford National Hockey League final here at Tauranga Hockey Centre.
There's Auckland have chance to gain that hold on possession once more. They'll play it through the midfield, and Marcus Child, he's got a player on his back, so he plays it forward. Unable to control it though. I think trying to find his brother, Simon Child. So a bit of a chat between the umpire and the players, and Auckland take that opportunity to make a change. They pulled the keeper.
I was just going to ask that very question. We couldn't see that. Is it time for Auckland to roll the dice? And it looks like they have.
Well, we talked about it, myself and Anita McLaren, that they didn't pull the keeper, Northland, in their game against North Harbour when they had the opportunity. 6-7 minutes remaining. I thought they would have done it when they were 2-0 down. They eventually pulled a goal back, but it was too little too late. And Auckland just one goal down. They feel they have to make that move now. So out of goal comes Leon Hayward. An extra player, outfield player comes on. So they now have 11 on 10 outfield players do Auckland. And, well, they've already been having the better of play. What can they do now with extra players? Jared Panchia takes a tumble. He's quickly to his feet, and it doesn't hurt Auckland at all. Harbour are going to make use of all this time they've got. They're not going to be in a rush to take any free hits or any restarts.
Right, now they dabbled right for a while, and then they were heading down centre for a while. So where are they seeing the holes here, Auckland? Left again this time.
Yeah, bit of space on the left side. Panchia loves a bit of a dribble. Wow, tackle though.
Yeah.
Good, strong tackle. Got to stick to the loose ball. Did Harbour's defender there, and that was great work by Mitchell Otto. Now Auckland opening up the play once more. Looking for where the holes are. Oh, big challenge there as they contested the ball. Auckland player at full length on the turf just to hold on to possession. And then Auckland player working baseline and goes over the baseline, but they're going to say off it. Harbour stick, so remains Auckland ball. They have the numerical advantage with outfield players. If you just joined us for this conclusion of the Men's Challenge Shield final in the 2019 National Hockey League, as Auckland, well, they get the ball in the back of the net, but it's not going to count. It's going to be a PC though.
Yep. I think the ball raised inside the circle by Harbour as they defended that. Will be the ruling.
Yeah, coming high off the keeper.
Yep.
And that was quite a good finish in the end, given the situation. But no play on there. So Auckland earned a penalty corner. A chance to equalise here for the Aucklanders in the Battle of the Bridge.
Right, we saw Harbour invent something to score from their penalty corner. What have Auckland got up their sleeve?
Be the captain for Auckland, Marcus Child, to take. The top of the corner goes and it finds its way just wide. Ooh. Well, it almost looked like it was in the back of the net. We'll see this from the replay. This will be a great angle for this one. Well trapped, the drag flick, and they tried to get that touch there off Panchia as he made his way to the post, but couldn't quite get the deflection and went wide. You can see what was designed there, but not quite able to execute. So a let off for Harbour. The 1-goal lead remains intact. But you got to think Auckland's going to create something else in this final 3.5 minutes. Will Harbour be able to hold out? Simon Child takes that down expertly from well over his head. Marcus Child, a rare mistake by his brother though. The captain hangs his head for a moment. Just thinking about what he was going to do rather than focusing on what he had to do first, and that was bring it under control. Now, Auckland will go back to go forward. Allowed to play with it in their own half. Harbour happy with that. And then when the ball comes, and that's Simon Child, full-length effort to get the ball back for Auckland. Finds Marcus Child. And now Panchia, but then Panchia loses it. And now Harbour break. Harbour will have numbers of a flood forward here.
No goalkeeper.
Yeah, no goalkeeper, of course. Open goal. But can they find their way to it? No, they can't. Well, there was a Harbour player right there on the goal, diving full length. But Auckland just managed to get players back, and Harbour denied. Now Harbour just where they need to be. This end of the field, right in the corner. Make things difficult for the Auckland players. They'll be desperate to win the ball back. Get the like of Steve Edwards on the ball. Very comfortable with the ball in his possession. He'll just play to the baseline, try and look for a foot. Auckland actually do very well to win it back. And Auckland keep it in play there as well. Marcus Child, he's dribbling in front of goal, just kept inside by Rousel, and judged to be a free hit for Auckland. So chance to relieve the pressure here. Is a card going to come out. A yellow card coming out for Harbour as they don't give the Auckland player the chance to play on. So another numerical advantage in the outfield. 1.5 minutes for Auckland here, and they should have space. They should have the extra man or two. Outfield players, Harbour, a couple of their men are going to have to become two in this final 1.5 minutes to close this one out. Auckland are going to throw everything at them, and they've got the extra couple of men as well. Of course, they pulled their goalkeeper, so they had the extra outfield player. Then the yellow card coming out for the North Harbour players. Child, as a big thank you to Nigel Gregory. He's going to make his way down the field. We'll wait to see what the result's going to be. But Nigel Gregory will have the post-game presentation, post-game interviews as well, as long as he remembers to take his headphones off. Doesn't take the whole system with him. And there he goes. Nigel Gregory has done fantastic work throughout the weekend. A big thank you for all his help. As time quickly running out for Auckland. Now a little over 30 seconds. Simon Child wants a free hit. It's given. Panchia to Rousel. They're throwing all the numbers forward now, Auckland. 30 seconds remaining. Auckland with it inside the circle, nothing given. They'll try again, full length dive from Harbour to keep it away. Fizzed in by Harbour. No player there. It'll be Harbour. Ball with the restart. They'll take their time over this. George Muir barking orders. The black stick and Harbour player. Now we go with the big overhead looking long. It only goes as far as halfway. Just seconds remain. And that's it. The 2019 Ford National Hockey League is North Harbour's. First it was the Tiger Turf North Harbour women beating Northland. Now Tiger Turf North Harbour men beating Auckland. They have won back the men's Challenge Shield. Both the big trophies in the 29 National Hockey League are going across the Harbour Bridge to North Harbour. North Harbour hold on. A frantic attack from Auckland, desperate as they attacked that Harbour goal in the closing stages. Harbour, 2 goals in the second period to take a 2-0 half-time lead. Then Auckland fought back. A goal from Shea Iswa in the third period. But Harbour holding on despite Auckland pulling their goalkeeper, having the man advantage. Then a Harbour player yellow carded late on. But Auckland unable to find that as we see the goals for North Harbour. The first one from Robbie Capisi. Just an opportunistic moment really. Out of nothing it came. And then this one from the penalty corner. Well worked. James Coghlan reverse stick over the keeper. And now this lovely little roll from the Auckland player Shea Iswa as he rolled his defender and then passed the keeper. That made it 2-1, and that was how it stands. So Harbour win their second men's Challenge Shield title in 3 years. Runners-up last year, champions this year. A big congratulations to the North Harbour men. We are now getting ready for interviews, I believe, downstairs with Nigel Gregory, who has quickly made his way turfside.
I almost feel guilty doing this, dragging you away from your teammates, but James Coghlan, you must be elated to get that win in the 2019 final.
Yeah, it's an awesome result. The Auckland boys have probably been the form team of the latter half of the competition. Through the top 4, they were playing some pretty good hockey, so we knew we had to defend pretty well today, which we did. You know, we only had one mistake that led to the goal, but I don't really think they really had that many other chances. So yeah, we had a good performance out there and come away with the shield, which is awesome.
Yeah, you had to really take a lot in the last, perhaps the last 2 quarters. They really came at you. Were you confident the whole way through that your defensive structures were going to hold you in good stead?
I think fourth quarter we started to defend pretty well, and I was confident there as Auckland started to make a few mistakes as they started pressing forward. And it's always hard when the goalkeeper comes off and they have another man on the field. You have to work pretty hard, but pretty stoked with where we got to in the end, and we defended that circle really well. So yeah, credit to the boys.
Oh, fantastic! You should be very pleased with what you did. That's a great result for you, and the Harbour girls picking up the gold as well today. Yeah. So look, I'll let you get to your team. Congratulations on a fantastic result.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Nigel Gregory there with James Coghlan, the successful captain from the North Harbour men, as they celebrate in style in the middle of the Tauranga Hockey Centre turf. Stay with us, we will have the post-game presentation. The medals will be handed out. They will receive the men's Challenge Shield, the Tiger Turf North Harbour men. The Tiger Turf North Harbour women will receive the K-Cup they already have. We'll have the silver medal handed out to the Auckland men, and the bronze medal will go the way of the Canterbury Cavaliers, who earlier this afternoon got the better of the Ricoh Capital Cobras. A special thanks to our Ford NHL partners. Ford, the naming rights sponsor of the Ford National Hockey League, the Tauranga City Council, Techt, Trillion Trust, Educare, Kookaburra, and of course Vantage, the principal partner of Hockey New Zealand. We thank you very much for all your support in making this all possible over the last 9 days of competition. and of course making the streaming possible. 8 games we've been able to bring you over the last couple of days. I hope you have enjoyed our coverage wherever you may be. Big congratulations to all the champions, and particularly those today, the 2 North Harbour sides, both Tiger Turf North Harbour women and men victorious. North Harbour beating Mark Cromie, Holden Northland in the Women's K-Cup final, and then just moments ago, Tiger Turf North Harbour men 2-1 winners over Auckland in the Men's Challenge Shield. Look at that. There it is, the Challenge Shield to be dished out to the North Harbour men after an incredible campaign. They lost 2-0 to Auckland in round robin, but they've run out 2-1 winners when it matters most in the final, and they will celebrate and take that impressive Challenge Shield back to North Harbour across the Harbour Bridge, up State Highway 1. It will go this evening. They'll no doubt celebrate long and hard into the evening. The 6th title for the North Harbour men, the 6th time they've won this Men's Challenge Shield. As the presentation's getting ready, as we get prepared to head turf side for the final presentation of this Ford National Hockey League with our MC, Nigel Gregory.
And gentlemen, as we get to the awards ceremony here at Tauranga Hockey Centre, we're going to have to do things a little bit differently today and think on our feet. The Canterbury Cavaliers, who have collected the bronze medal today, and they're going to be presented by Mr. Paul Scorange from Hockey New Zealand. They're going to grab their medals and they've got to head to the airport. So we'd like to congratulate them on a great week for them and a good, very, very good performance today. So congratulations to you, Canterbury Cavaliers, and have safe travels on your way home. And as those medals are being presented, I'd like to invite our first speaker to talk to us today. And I'd like to invite Mr. Ian Francis, CEO of Hockey New Zealand, to come and have a few words.
Yep. Thanks very much. Ladies and gentlemen, can I just have a round of applause for what an amazing final between North Harbour and Auckland. Round of applause, please. Outstanding game right to the end. From me, just from Hockey New Zealand, just a few thank yous to start with. So to Jackie Tomlinson, our tournament director, and the umpires and officials, a big thank you, well done. To Clinton and the team at Tauranga Hockey, thank you so much and well done. To our Hockey New Zealand team, Richard, Sandra, and Frenchie in particular, thank you for everything you've done this week. To our spectators and participants, players, everyone who's travelled, thank you so much for your participation this week. It's been really well received, and for those travelling, have a safe journey home. From Hockey New Zealand point of view, to our partners who are so valued for us, our naming rights partner for this event, Ford, it's a big thank you for your support. To Vantage, our principal partner for Hockey New Zealand and naming rights partner for our Black Sticks, the Vantage Black Sticks, it's a big thank you to you. Our other partners, CCL, Lotto, Educare, Kookaburra and Polytan, thank you. And for this particular event, we really would like to thank Tauranga City, with Greg here today, TECT, Trillion Trust, NZCT and all our other supporters. A big round of applause for those, please. As you know, if I just have a couple of minutes, as you know, we'll be making some changes. For the last 2 years, we've done a fair bit of research and asked our community about how we can do our performance and community hockey better, so that we are fit for purpose to deliver on the world stage. We have listened, and these changes are a result of that listening. For this event at this level, we are creating an exciting competition with our associations. The intention is for a tiered competition with associations playing teams at a level commensurate with their ability, and we will also have promotion and relegation. We will host this next year here in Tauranga again, and at a similar time of year. We will resurrect the old cups. We'll resurrect the old cups. We'll have to find them somewhere and work through with the associations over the next month. In addition, the really exciting part is we'll be creating a high performance series. We've begun planning for this new high performance series, and this will sit in a different window, and players from the association event can put their hand up for selection. We are really excited about the high performance series, bridging the gap between international hockey and club hockey, but also for us to be able to broadcast on TV. The exact dates and times will be worked through before the end of the year. Again, thank you for everyone's contribution to the NHL over the last 21 editions. It's been an amazing event for us. It's time to be celebrated, and for those who have given so much time, we thank you. We appreciate the passion and support from all corners of our country, at a high performance level and also at association level. This is our real strength as a sport, and we don't want to change that. Congratulations to our winners today and the regions for the work that you have put into it. Also, at a final note, congratulations to the Vantage Black Sticks women on automatic qualification to Tokyo Olympics 2020, and we look forward to everyone here and online getting to supporting the Vantage Black Sticks men when we play Korea in Stratford on November 2nd and 3rd. Again, thank you very much, and that's it.
And now I'd like to invite to speak a lady who's never more than a few metres away from a hockey turf, as far as I know, Jill Gemming, who's a life member of Tauranga Hockey and the president of Tauranga Hockey Association.
How much they appreciated the Tauranga weather and what a wonderful location it was, and so for us to have it back again next year, a third turf that will be finished, and so everything will be here. It will be a great venue for hockey within this region. It's really important that I also acknowledge that the support that we've had from the Tauranga City Council and also from TECT. I also want to thank very much our local sponsors, Go Hockey, and all the local businesses that have really supported us over the last, this particular week, but for weeks before that in preparation. We've also had, right from the start when it was announced, a wonderful support from Richard Palmer and his team at Hockey New Zealand. They've worked really positively with us, and it's really led to a very good organisation. It's really, we can't thank, and I know that Ian has thanked a lot of people, but personally I really need to extend thanks to the Tauranga Hockey staff. They've just worked tirelessly all week, way beyond what their role normally is. They've been here early in the morning, they've been here late at night, and they've been well supported by a huge team of volunteers. And many of those volunteers have been acting as judges on the bench, but as soon as they've finished, they've been doing other jobs, such as manning the gates, fixing the ice, cleaning up in the rubbish, or watering the turfs. And we really can't thank you for your just superb efforts. The other group that I really want to acknowledge, in any sport, you can't do it without a superb group of officials and umpires. Hockey New Zealand and New Zealand is world leading as far as hockey officials and umpires. And we already have a number that have been named for 2020 to go to the Olympics. New Zealand's an envy of other continents and other countries in the way in which they develop officials. And it was a really good example this week, where volunteer judges who had never been involved before were mentored by really senior officials. So we very much, I acknowledge that and congratulate Hockey New Zealand on their performance in the officiating space. So I think the teams are waiting for their medals and their celebrations. So for me, congratulations to Harbour and to Auckland for giving us such a great final. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jill. Our first award that we will be presenting today will be presented by Jackie Tomlinson, and it's the Pritchard Cup, and for the top umpire of the tournament, and this one goes to David Tomlinson. Insider trading. Our next two awards will be presented by Mr. Russell Peterson, who's the Managing Director of Ultimate Motor Group. And the first one is for the forward top goal scorer, and there was a tie for this. One was Sam Lane from Canterbury, and the other is Mr. Joel Rintala from Capital. And they're both gone. Here. The next trophy is for the Ford MVP trophy. And again, this will be presented by Mr. Russell Peterson. And today it goes to James Coghlan. Congratulations. The winning continues for North Harbour here today. The Ramesh Patel Shield, which is the symbol of regional supremacy, will be presented by Brent Edwards, and that one goes to North Harbour. So we've handed out the bronze medals to Canterbury. We had to rush off and catch their plane now. The silver medals will be presented by Mr. Pete Blackwell, who's a trustee of TECT here in Tauranga. Great supporters of our hockey here. And the silver medals for 2019 go to Auckland. And then, as we look to the gold medal presentation, and this will be presented by His Worship the Mayor of Tauranga, Mr. Greg Brownless, who probably deserves a gold medal himself today. It's election year, and he promised to give a short, sharp speech in the women's round, and he did that too, so hats off to you. There's not many local body politicians could manage that. So, Mr. Brownless, I would ask you to please present the gold medals as the winners of the 2019 Ford National Hockey League to North Harbour. And as those medals are going out, if I could ask for the captain of Auckland to come up and say a few words, please.
Just to get started, I guess I'd like to thank Tauranga Hockey for putting on an awesome week. I heard the Ames Games was a little bit different with the weather, but there was a big advertisement for us all to move to Tauranga this week because it was beautiful. Hockey New Zealand and all the officials, thank you very much for the week. It ran pretty smoothly on the men's side, and thank you. To the North Harbour boys, losing hasn't hurt so much in a long time. So you guys personally showed me how much I care about playing for Auckland and winning, but you guys played an awesome game today and stuck to your game plan, so well done. The Auckland boys, I know we're all hurting, but onward and upward, and we'll try and do better in the association tournament next year. Cheers.
Just a couple more things to go now, and I would just call on Mr. Neil Edmondson, if he could please present the Challenge Shield to our victorious champions this year, Tiger Turf North Harbour. And yep, the microphone's yours.
First of all, I just want to thank Clinton and the team at Tauranga Hockey here. It's been a pretty awesome week and pretty hard week with you, having Ames games and NHL and senior tournament as well. So you guys have run the show pretty good, and it's pretty awesome here, as well as the support of Hockey New Zealand, so thank you. Thanks to Frenchie and the umpire team as well, so it's been a great week. To the Auckland boys, we've been playing against you for a long time now. You guys are great competitors, and you've been the form team through the top 4 this week, and so Marcus and Jimmy and the boys, you guys put together a pretty awesome campaign. You should be proud of your efforts this week. To my boys, it's been a pretty awesome campaign. We've had to grind it out, un-Harbour-like a little bit, and defend really well today. We knew the threats Auckland had, and put a pretty good game plan in place and put it all together. So it's been pretty awesome to bring the shield back home. To the Harbour supporters that are all here still, it's been awesome to see all you over the week. It's pretty cool to have the 2 NHL teams and the 2 senior tournament teams all here. It's really awesome to see the Harbour colours in the crowd. It's awesome to see the Auckland supporters here as well. It was a well-supported final, and congratulations to the Tiger Turf Hawks. I think it'll be the first time the men and women have won at the same time, so it's a pretty awesome occasion for North Harbour, so cheers, thank you.
Thanks, James. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up for 2019. Just lastly for me, just to say thank you very much for your attendance and wish you well and safe travels as you head home from Tauranga Hockey Centre. Thank you very much and good night.
Hockey New Zealand's coverage of the Ford National Hockey League is proudly brought to you by Ford New Zealand in association with our hosts, Tauranga Hockey and the Tauranga City Council. And thanks to key partners TECT, Trillion Trust, Educare, and Vantage Windows and Doors, principal partner of Hockey New Zealand.